was a beast! Ah!
Hello and welcome to a new episode of Not the Bees, the Nicolas Cage filmography podcast. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Megs.
And this week we have a treat for you folks. In fact, for the next month we have a treat for you folks. We're going to be going through Spider-Noir, 2 episodes a week to get to the end of this 8-episode series. So there will be spoilers in these episodes. You have been warned. Spider-Noir is an Amazon series. It has 91% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it stars our wonderful Nick Cage as Private Eye Ben Reilly. He is living easy and lazy until mobsters, monsters, and femme fatales drag him back into his former life as New York's only superhero. So let's start with episode 1. We meet Ben Reilly, formerly the Spider, 5 years after losing the love of his life, Ruby, and hanging up his webs for a life of private investigation. One day, Ben is hired to track down a man named Addison. After finding him, Addison makes him and runs. After a small chase, Addison is cornered by another PI named Donegal. Addison threatens Donegal and his hands light on fire. Donegal, mystified, shoots Addison 3 times. Addison goes down, but the fire ignites a nearby oil barrel and Donegal is blown back. Ben pulls the man to safety and rifles through his wallet. It's discovered that both PIs were hired by the same man, and Donegal was offered $50 to Ben's $30. The two decide to team up and find out more. Meanwhile, Ben's friend Robbie, a reporter and also in the know about the Spider, wants Ben to come out of retirement. The city needs him. Ben calls Winston, the guy that offered him $30. He tells the guy he met the other PI and won't give him any info about Addison for less than $200. Donegal follows Winston to a burned-down house. Ben meets him there, and they listen to a man named Silvermane, the local crime boss, who says to pay whatever Ben is asking for. They need to find Addison for burning down his home. Ben takes another job to follow a woman whose husband thinks she is cheating. He follows the woman to a hotel's penthouse. He climbs the fire escape all the way up and photographs the woman having an argument with a man who turns out to be the mayor. Just before the mayor goes to strike the woman, Ben uses his webs to pull the mayor's hand away and then runs. He tells the husband his wife is loyal and lovely and gives the man his money back. His secretary, Janet, suggests selling the photos to the woman. They need the money. She's already applied for another job. Ben isn't a huge fan of blackmail, but says it's not a bad idea. Ben meets Robbie at the hospital to look at a body in the morgue. Ben shows him the photo of the woman and learns from Robbie her name is Kat Hardy, and she works at a club called The Alcove. At this point, Robbie pulls the body from the drawer, and he has 3 gunshot wounds to his chest, but his body is otherwise unmarred from the fire. Ben confirms he did burn. He was there. He asks Robbie not to print it for a little bit to warn Donegal. Ben has a spider sense tingle. He's had a few but ignores them, and it shows up and he tells people that they're migraines, but it's always in the back of his brain. He tells Robbie it's just a migraine, but his mind flashes to Addison as he burned. Robbie isn't buying it. He asks if Addison has superpowers like him, but Ben blows it off. He tries to leave word for Donegal to meet him at the alcove that night. Ben is first to arrive just as Kat is going on stage to sing. Ben is transfixed by her act until Winston walks by him. As the song ends, Ben goes to the phone booth to call Donegal, and Silvermane walks by. Donegal doesn't answer, and we switch scenes to see Donegal tied to a chair in the basement. Silvermane asks him where Addison is, and Donegal tells him he shot him after he went up in flames. There was no exchange of info, so Silvermane kills him and tells Winston to go get Ben. In the lounge, Ben approaches Kat to compliment her performance. He asks her to go somewhere private, but she declines, and her bodyguard Flint Marco comes to intimidate. Ben gives Kat one of the photos and tells her maybe they can discuss the price of the negatives over lunch, and he leaves. He takes himself up a skyscraper in the process of being built. Marco has followed him and demands the negatives. There's a brief fight, and then Ben knocks Marco out and begins to walk away, but the man begins to grunt and his body starts to change into sand, and the fight begins anew. Ben knocks him down again, and as he comes to, Kat is there begging Ben not to hurt Marco. He gives Kat the negatives for free and walks away. Janet is not pleased and is packing to quit the following day. As they argue, Kat walks in and offers Ben a job. Marco is missing. Episode 2. Kat explains what she knows about Marco, which is very little other than his address and when he started turning into sand. Once she leaves, Ben and Janet divide and conquer, with Ben checking out Marco's place and Janet going to the Bureau of Criminal Records. Across town, Silvermane is having breakfast, and Winston attempts to talk him out of going to the docks to meet a new supplier. He argues it's not smart until they figure out who tried to kill him. He'll check the place out first. Silvermane thinks his competitors think he's gone soft. He wants Winston to find Marco and tells him when the guys find Reilly to bring him straight to him. Ben makes it to Marco's place and has a look around. He finds a photo of Marco and his army buddies. Addison is in the photo as well. His senses start to go off when there's a knock. It's Winston. Ben hides in a closet as Winston and another man come in to search, but he's left his hat and has to use his webs to get it into the closet. Finding nothing, the men leave. At the Bureau of Criminal Records, Janet bribes a clerk with a sandwich for info on Marco successfully. At the office, Ben and Janet discern that Marco is now an enforcer for Silvermane. Ben goes to the alcove and asks Kat about the photo. She knew he was in the war, but not what he did there, and she claims she doesn't know Addison. She explains that she owns the club, but it's really Silvermane's, and Marco is there to protect the investment. She says she has business with Silvermane and Ben, but they are separate. Ben agrees to keep working the case. Marco watches Ben leave the club from a roof across the street. Then he watches Kat through a window. Back at his office, Ben gets a tingle right as he opens the door, and two goons are there to take him to Silvermane. On the road, Ben asks what they want, and they let slip something about ripping the boss off. Ben says he tried to talk Donegal out of his little scheme, and he doesn't know who burns down Silvermane's house. He punches one of the men and jumps out of the car and rolls under the bridge to hide. Next, Ben and Robbie are listening to the mayor give a stump speech for re-election, promising the end of Prohibition. Ben tries to warn Robbie to be careful, but Robbie instead tries to convince Ben to become the Spider again. Robbie goes looking for Addison's wife in the slums. She's not home, but a large man named Lonnie shows up asking who he is. He explains he's a reporter, wants to speak to Addison's widow. The man seems to be his friend, and Robbie tells him about the house fire and the explosion. He thinks he was paid to burn the house down. The man says Addison was sick. He didn't know who hired him, but the wife, Vera, might, and that Robbie can find her at a local hotel. Back at Ben's office, some men are tossing it and threatening Janet with a gun. Ben arrives moments after they leave, and Janet gives him their warning. He needs to get back to being who he was before Ruby died. She quits. Ben takes a trip to his old apartment to retrieve his old spider costume, posing as a plumber and knocking out a bathroom wall. Robbie makes it to the hotel and confronts Vera and accuses her of being on the take for her husband's murder. She didn't have anything to do with his murder, but she knew why he did and assumes he got himself killed. Meanwhile, Lonnie arrives in an old theater where Marco is hiding. He tells him that Addison is dead and a reporter is poking around about him being hired to kill Silvermane. Marco says he would have stopped him if he had known. He still looks like sand a bit. He can't change back after the last time. Lonnie offers him a place to stay. At the docks, Winston calls Silvermane with the all clear on the new supplier. On the drive over, the Spider swings onto the roof of the lead car. Silvermane says to take him out, but the Spider flips the car and creates a block to the remaining two cars. The Spider makes quick work of the goons and then steps into Silvermane's car for a talk. He says he's there for a favor to Ben Reilly. He doesn't know who tried to kill him, and if it bothers Ben or the secretary again, he will kill Silvermane. Back at his tossed office, Ben pulls off his mask and goes to pour a drink when the phone rings. It's Robbie. He says there was a bust set up for Silvermane at the docks, but Silvermane never showed and wanted to give Ben the heads up that it looks like someone tipped him off. And that's the end of part one. We've got a lot of setup to go through here. Megan, what did you think of the first two episodes?
I actually really liked the lockstep world building that they did. I think it's very clear who all of the players are. I think it's very clear how important they are to whatever issue they're doing. Like Robbie used to work for the same newspaper that he's trying to get his job back at. I don't remember which one it's called. What's the name of the newspaper called that Jonah Jameson works at? I can't remember what it's called that Peter Parker sells his photos to. It doesn't matter. That's where he used to work at. He's clearly following some kind of a lead. He knows who Ben is, and like there's a history there. We're gonna get information about Ruby and their relationship. I can't wait until that happens. I think that they've done a really good job of teeing up where this is going to go. The first 2 episodes have been a really, really good introduction. What are your thoughts?
Did you watch in black and white or color?
I watched in black and white. I watched a couple of previews in color, and not that it's not absolutely gorgeous, because it is. It's very poppy. It's very vibrant. It just doesn't look as real as the black and white does.
Interesting. I haven't watched any of it in color, so that is an interesting take. I will watch some of the previews in color and see what I think. I also watched it in black and white. I agree with you. I think they're doing a brilliant job setting everything up. It's been 2 episodes, 45 minutes each, so an hour and a half total. So I was surprised that the spider came out of retirement so quickly. I was expecting that to be pushed off into later episodes, but he is there and web slinging, and I think it's a little. I love the physicality of the role. I love how the spider, like, he swings, but when he lands like a man in his 60s.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he's not super graceful. He's not Tom Holland.
Yeah.
He's not doing backflips and landing every flip and every kick and everything like that.
It's not about the acrobatics of it. It's about the sheer movement.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think that Nick Cage was born to play this part. I love his accent work that he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
I love the he was spot on when he said he was doing like 70% Bogart, 30% Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, 100%.
I think he's having a lot of fun with the role, and it really is a true noir piece. It really is hitting all of the noir notes. It is very Double Indemnity. It is very Casablanca. It is very The Maltese Falcon. It is really hitting these good crime caper neo-noir elements really well.
It is.
It's beautifully shot.
Yeah, like it's very, like what I was saying, like there's an element of the color that just doesn't look real. It looks generated, whereas the black and white to me seems very crisp. It seems very clear. They've done a really, really, really good job with shadow play.
Yeah.
In the black and white. I might, once we're through like reviewing it, I may go back and rewatch it in color just to see like the contrast of the difference of how the shadow work that they're using in black and white works in the color, or if they edited it differently. It's very good. I love how they're directing this. And I also love like the modern elements to it. Kat is a lounge singer at a very like high priced club, and she sings a very modern version of a song. I can't remember what the name of the song is, but it's got a very modern beat. It's got a very modern tempo.
It's very postmodern jukebox.
I was just gonna say it's very much the style of postmodern jukebox. And like that scene actually in particular, when he becomes transfixed on her performance, the way that the camera moves in and out of his like focus on her, I thought was really brilliant. Their exchange later, they have really good chemistry with each other.
Yeah.
And not even really. Go ahead.
The dialogue between the two of them is so poppy, and it is so fast and syncopated, and really hammers home that 1950s movie vibe. Like this is set in the 30s and it's got that vibe of how people talked in those 1950s movies.
But also incredibly organic and not fake.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel like a device. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. We also haven't gotten to the point where we've touched on any of the side characters yet.
I love Janet. I love Janet
I
so
love
much.
Janet. I love her so much. She is amazing. She's going to be the character that grounds him through the series. She's going to be his conscience. Robbie's going to be the one that like is probably, I can't tell if he's going to be the one that like keeps his finger off the trigger or puts his finger on it. I'm getting kind of both vibes from him. So I'm not really sure about his character, but he is played by a man named Lamorne Morris. Most people would probably know him from New Girl. I believe he played a man named Winston. Yeah, his character's name was Winston in that show. Very much not a comedic role, and he's slamming it. Like, he is absolutely killing this role. Brendan Gleeson plays Silvermane. Should we talk about him?
He's brilliant in everything. Like, I have nothing to say aside from the fact that Brendan Gleeson is brilliant in everything.
Yeah, he is. It's honestly really...
Who plays Winston?
Winston is played by a guy named Lucas Haas. He's been in a bunch of things that you've probably seen. He's definitely a hey, it's that guy. Yeah, he's been in a bunch of stuff. He's been in The Righteous Gemstones for a few episodes. He was in the War of the Worlds TV series. He was in The Revenant, Transcendence. He's been in a ton of different stuff, but he is very much like a hey, it's that guy.
I recognize him from somewhere. I just don't know where.
A bunch of things. He was also in Inception. He played Nash.
Oh, that's probably where I know him.
Probably from. That's probably where your brain went to. But yeah, he's been in a bunch of stuff. This show is really well cast. It doesn't have a ton of very big named actors in it, but it does have actors that you would recognize from a few places, and it's done well. It's like they're puzzle pieces, and they are all right now sort of fitting together very, very well. I don't know if I've ever watched a new TV show and in the first 2 episodes I've been like, hell yeah. It's like I usually have to give shows like 3 to 4 episodes for the most part. There's usually not a situation where it's like, oh my God, I'm fucking hooked, unless it's like a season 2 situation. But no, this is good. This is really good.
Yeah, I can't wait to see where this goes. We both went into this fairly cold. Like, I watched the trailers, but I didn't go digging for information about the show. I wanted to go into it kind of blind and just see what I saw. So yeah, there you have it, folks. That's week 1 of us watching Spider-Noir. We'll be back next week with episodes 3 and 4. Thank you so much, as always, for listening and playing along. This is episode 101, which is just amazing to me.
Yeah.
As always, we are on Instagram at Not the Bees Pod. We are on all of your podcatchers, including YouTube, and we have a Patreon at patreon.com/notthebees. But that's going to be it for us this week. Megan, unless you had something else to say.
No, I'm good. I can't wait until we watch the next couple. You guys probably noticed we didn't rate this yet. It's because we're not at the end. We will rate this once we get to the end of it. I don't even think that it's fair to even give it like a potential like prelim rating. But yeah, stay tuned. We can't wait to see the last 6 episodes of this show. Follow along with us. That's it.
All right. I've been Elizabeth.
And I've been Megs.
We'll catch you next time.